My approach to design would be maybe a little crazy. I kind of like to say that I have no limits.
I think it'd be cool to study buildings after they've failed, study structural members after a collapse or something.
I recently went back to school because I wanted to focus on sustainable design.
One problem I'd like to work on would definitely be our infrastructures in the United States, especially bridges.
Responding to the environment, using recycled materials, creating buildings that can take care of themselves.
Seems like what designers tend to think are important, not just to improve the quality of life, but the quality of our surroundings and how we interface with our surroundings and the people around us.
I think technology plays a huge role in my life now. I'd hate to admit that because I try to, resist it. Technology's really made this leap recently into a form of media that's small and portable. I think that's huge, and that allows it, everyday people to kind of carry around, their whole office with them.
It's just being able to visualize it and really explore the design in a three-dimensional form. I mean, the capabilities are incredible.
Computer graphics and computer programs that actually allow you to really see what that design is, I think is even more helpful because you actually model something and then know how effective it is in terms of a sustainable design.
So now instead of trying to predict the actual outcome of your design, you can actually see how it's going to perform pretty realistically within a digital context.
You can go up to a client and show them 15 different versions of one project. Whereas if you were hand drawing those things or doing them in AutoCAD, it would require a revision for each one. Whereas with Revit, it takes half the time and at the same time better quality.
It saves you a ton of time and money of having to go back later when people want changes.
I think Revit and BIM technology is the future. Eventually firms will only be using BIM, so getting a head start now, getting skilled at it would make me a very valuable asset for a firm.
I feel like the most relevant to my field of study is definitely Revit because there's the Revit architecture and then there's Revit structure. And the two programs work so well together that if I wanted to design something, I would do it in Revit architecture and import it into Revit structure and do the structural analysis.
Having one program that does everything for you saves the client money, saves you guys time, and just allows you to be that much more involved in a project.
I'm really interested in the way that we can use Revit architecture as architects to combine our workflow with other professions and other disciplines in the field to make a more streamlined process as we create buildings.
We're always conscious about not only what it's going to take to get it there, but how are we going to maintain it in the future.
Buildings are responsible for 60% of all the energy use. So as architects, we have a huge part in shaping the future. And I think sustainability has to be at the forefront of everyone's thought process.
It's more of an attitude of stewardship to the planet and our environment that governs your day-to-day life as well as your career practices.
You can't just slap solar panels and windmills on the top of buildings. You have to think from the start about what the effect your building is going to have on its environment.
If I can think it, I can make it a reality.
We have the ability to make these structures resilient to natural disasters. Using what I've learned in the States, using what I've learned in college, and applying that to countries that may not hold building codes or structural engineering as in such high priority.
One day I'll be able to drive down the street with someone in the car and point out something like a bridge and say, I helped design that.